We're going to start off with a quick unboxing of what I got, and this is the box you'll see. This did come with that dent. I didn't do that myself, but let's go over the full name of this because it's a doozy. Let's see. On ebike.com, this is what it's called. It's a Colt licensed sports line M4 AEG by Cybergun. The model is an M4 tanker with 3.5 quad rail. So, yeah, that's a doozy. But in the box, this is what you get. Let me just swap it around so you can see it. You get a nice manual. It doesn't have much, it just has just basics. You're probably not going to use it, I'm just going to toss it out anyway, but here you go. You get a high cap magazine, kind of standard high cap. You get a dummy charger. Never use that, use a smart charger. If you didn't know that already. You get the forbidden candy. Please don't eat these. It'll kill you. And you get a battery. Well, mine came with a battery. This is 1100 milliamp 9.6 volt nunchuck battery. So that's not too bad actually. And you get the gun itself. And let's go over this gun, shall we? Here you go. Here is the tanker. A very strange name. And to be honest, I hated the look of this gun when I first got it. I thought this thing was ugly when seeing it in the photos and on e-bike. However, I'm starting to like it actually, surprisingly. I don't think it looks that bad. It actually feels pretty good too. Let me put in the magazine, complete that look. Yeah, this isn't loaded, doesn't have any batteries or BBs, but I just want to complete the look for you. Let's get the sights up. Now these sights were not this springy when I first got them. I had to kind of like crank them, yank them up for you because it was not easy. But actually, this is actually not bad. But I want to go over what's metal, what's polymer, and all that fun stuff. So most of this is polymer. However, it's not a bad thing. This polymer is actually really good quality. I don't mind it at all. The front rail is metal. It feels like aluminum to me. Same with this front end right here. The, well, I wouldn't say suppressor, but the muzzle, something like that. Muzzle device, I don't know, let's call it muzzle device then, is metal. And it has a plastic orange chip. This feels like you can get it off pretty easily, but I don't want to do that because I want to sell this. Anywho, so we got a metal dust cover, metal bolt, but these are very cheap. This is very cheap metal, but I mean it kind of has to be because this is actually a pretty cheap gun. It's about usually $130, which isn't bad actually. But we'll go over the internals and everything else for you, do the disassembly. What else? Oh yes, I'm getting sidetracked again. Stock is obviously polymer. This is actually metal, the butt plate. The door is metal, which is nice. The sights are polymer. And these are not the greatest sights in the world. You can make do. I would definitely recommend either just getting a red dot, but I mean if you need to use them, you'll use them. It's not so bad. It's got a charging handle with a little bit of a release. And pulling the charging handle reveals your hop up. And the hop up is a dial style hop up, which is actually really cool to see. And we'll go over like the quality of everything on the inside later too. So, you get your normal M4 things, you got your mag release. And also I noticed with this magazine is you probably would need to wear it in a little bit, but for me, I kind of have to shove it in and kind of force it in a little bit more than you're supposed to because the hop-up unit is just slightly forward and you kind of have to move it in place. It's, yeah, something's not fully aligned, but it works. But that might just be mine. On the other side, we got a fake bolt release. Does nothing, it's just for looks. We have the other side of the mag release, and we have the selector switch, which is pretty decently crisp, I would say. Not too bad. Pretty average, I would say. Actually, it's pretty crisp, I would say. Just a slightly above average. The trigger feels like a normal trigger. I have nothing really to note, which is a good thing. Not exactly a bad thing. Oh yeah, the forward assist does nothing. It's just a big button. I already opened this up for a second and to see what, if it did anything. Nope, it just does nothing. So yeah, I think that goes over most of the externals I can think of. What I like that's nice about this is actually, if you look, I'm trying to get a good position for you. Oh, adjust here. Alright, you're just gonna have to take my word for it. I don't think you can actually see it, but actually the inner barrel goes all the way up to pretty much right in here, right here-ish, which is where it kind of funnels. There's like kind of a funnel to it, to the front. So that's where the inner barrel goes, is basically up to that. Yeah, it's pretty heavy, I would say. This is actually kind of heavy compared to most M4s. The grip kind of has a standard grip on it. Yeah, I think that goes over for most of the externals. I forgot to mention, this battery compartment is housed in the stock, and because it's a full stock, it actually has plenty of room to fit pretty much everything you need. Alright, let's do a quick rate of fire test. So this is 11.1 LiPo, and I'm going to fire at the couch because there's nothing. I'm going to dry fire it, but I'm just going to fire at the couch. Alright, here we go. So this is semi. I'm going to do full. Really good, decent rate of fire here. Nice rate of fire. And I'm going to try to pull the semi as fast as I can. So that's as fast as you can with 11.1. Alright, let's do a quick chronograph, and remember, always wear eye protection. These are 0.2s. Alright, I'm going to go over the quick disassembly of this gun. It's just a M4, so everything's pretty easy. Nothing too crazy. I like to pull the charging handle a little here. Yeah, it kind of gets a little stuck, and there we go. There's your upper receiver. And your barrel and up unit. There we go. That took way too long. Alright. There's your motor. Interesting enough, there actually is 4 screws in here, which is usually it's 2. So if you're going to put on a different type of grip on here, I don't think it's going to be as compatible as other companies. There we go. And here's your lower receiver. There's your gearbox. This is a very nice gearbox, I would have to say. It's very nice. Good port. 8mm ball bearings. Has a quick change spring. With this model of the M4, you can remove the stock very easily with a flathead. And once it's removed, you can get to the quick change spring system. Take your hex key, push in, put it in, push, twist until it pops out. And there you go, there's your spring and spring guide. See, the plastic they use for here is cheaper. I would say everything that has this type of red plastic, because it doesn't feel like polymer, it feels more plasticky. But I don't see how this would break as that easily. However, just keep in mind it may break on you, which this stuff is pretty cheap, so you can easily just get replacements, because this is a standard type of hop-up unit. You can get any aftermarket one for relatively cheap. So, alright, let's open this bad boy up and see what's on the inside of the gearbox. Alright, I'm back. I managed to get this open. It was a pain. For some odd reason, something snagged. I couldn't get it open that easily, but here it is. You can see everything. It's a standard version 2 gearbox with your safety trigger. It's actually kind of interesting. They actually have a sector delay switch already installed, which is actually pretty nice coming from a more budget-like gun. Let's see if it'll focus. There we go. It's coming from a more budget-like gun. This is actually pretty nice, having a sector delay switch. The grease on here is actually pretty good. It's not like super coated, but it's not like absent. It's probably the perfect amount of grease I would put. There's still more of these type of cheaper plastic components, which isn't bad. The only thing I don't like is the nozzle here. I don't like the feel of this nozzle. If you can replace it, I'll probably replace it, but it's doable. Just a quick side note, the piston that's in this is actually a full metal tooth piston, which is surprising to see in a budget gun like this. So, back to normal me. And the reassembly on this is exactly the opposite of how you disassembled it. Version 2 gearboxes are nothing spectacular, but this is a nice platform to upgrade from, I would say. This gearbox shell is very nice. Just the swappable, even the swappable, the quick change spring is nice. I think the gears on this are nice. The sector delay switch is nice. I mean, the trigger system's nice. I just need some MOSFET. Of course, the angle of engagement and shimming, and you basically will be all set with this. And that's just standard on every airsoft gun. So yeah. It's time to go over the conclusions for this. There's two categories I want to go over. One is bang for your buck ratio, and also my recommendations for the type of person that would like something like this. First off, let's go over bang for your buck. I think this is wonderful. I think what you get for the amount you pay is great. It's still entry, keep in mind, it's still a entry level to mid-tier gun. So it's not going to be $300 internals here. You probably saw that already. It's not $300, but it's nice. They made some pretty good decisions for it. There is still room for upgrading. Definitely there's room for upgrade. It's not perfect out of the box, but it's definitely reliable. You can shoot this out of the box, and it will work for you. I have no doubt in my mind that you'll be fine. The only thing I'd say that you need to do is add a MOSFET, like I did in this gun. That's the only crucial thing I would say that you need to do to make this reliable. Everything else I think is perfect. Other than also the air nozzle. Just replace that at a MOSFET and you're good. Nothing else you need to do for this. For the externals, I think they're great. This is very sturdy. This is great. Good thing it takes M4 magazines, very common magazine. You can get millions of them easily. Nice rails everywhere for whatever you want to add on it. Covers, foregrips, whatever. The front being metal is great, especially the front rail being metal for the foregrips. But I think now we're starting to go into the second category, is who is this for? Because I know that not everyone has infinite money and they have to choose on one type of gun to use for a while at least, or something that's unique and they have as a fun gun. I understand that too. I don't think this is a fun gun. I think this is for someone that wants a reliable gun. I think this would be great for someone that wants to kind of have something more unique but still keeps that M4 platform and takes M4 magazines and M4 gearboxes, just the default M4 stuff that looks a little bit unique. The trademarks are nice. Oh, it's on this side. Yeah, the trademarks are pretty nice, but it's nothing crazy. I haven't had a single person be like, ooh, I wanted to see your trademarks. The only time I would actually have trademarks, I would think I would like trademarks, where there's something more unique, like the original M16A1, or something along those lines, like a old school of the era weapon. That's when I would love trades like that. Trades like this, not bad, not terrible. It's just a nice little bonus. But the with the quick change spring, you can change this from close quarters to long ranges, but the problem is there's not really a need to, because this is really, because the barrel length, this is really designed for close quarters, and the spring in here is already meant for close quarters, so there's not much you can really do about it. Speed softening, that's a tricky one on this one. Without upgrades, no. I would say it'll do. It would definitely do. It's going to be similar to a combat machine without upgrades. But it can be a pretty good CQB weapon, a speed soft weapon, if you upgrade it. But that says that's pretty much for every weapon. So, I don't know. It's your decision, your opinion on this. I'm just laying out everything I feel about it and what I think about it. But overall, it's just your opinion. If you love the look of this, if it's something that looks good to you, and you're just happy to hear that it has decent internals, then go for it. But if you like the internals but you don't like the looks, maybe go for the other models that are more generic, if you want generic. There's people out there that do. I don't get me wrong. I know there's people that want generic, just easygoing stuff. This is a very generic, easygoing gun. And I think it's better than a combat machine, in my opinion. Especially with the upgrades that are already in here, especially the quick change spring, it is better. So this is definitely an upgrade over a combat machine. But I wouldn't say it's a $200 gun either. So it lies perfectly in its price range, I would say. It lies perfectly in its price range, and you can't go wrong with this. I don't see anything that you can really go wrong with this one. Well, thank you for watching the video, and hopefully I'll have more reviews out for you. I try to get more interesting guns. This is more of a first review, first test. So I'm hoping to get to more pistols, and I hope people like this, especially the fact that I disassemble it and review the internals, because I know there's a lot of reviewers that don't do that. I want to make sure I'm a little bit different, where I do show you the internals and how to disassemble it, because there's some guns that are very weird to disassemble. I know, because I have a couple. especially like M14s or like I have actually the AGM Sten. That one is kind of difficult to disassemble, and there's not really any videos about that. So tell me your feelings in the chat. Tell me what you think, and if I need to change anything, I'm okay. I'm good at taking criticism. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll get you more airsoft reviews. See you all.